everyone.
Welcome to the Reconstructing History podcast.
I am Bob.
I'm Cass.
And we're here to blither at you from a brilliantly sunny day, at least a sunny morning, here in the Netherlands.
Yes.
It is, at time of recording, it is the week before Christmas. We have just finished moving.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's hectic.
It's been kind of a crazy...
It's been a very crazy week.
It's been a maddening week.
And
the sun is shining this morning, and we feel like good things. We need some good things happening.
We feel like let's go out, record a podcast, get some vitamin D.
Yeah, and we thought we love nothing better than talking to you guys. So if anything can bring our spirits up, it's this.
Yep. And because of moving and all of that, in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, because we're on another lockdown here in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Just last week, the Prime Minister shut schools and gyms and dine in. You can't even dine on the terraces anymore.
Yeah, it's the strictest lockdown we've had since March.
Yeah. So...
because our numbers, we had kind of a semi-lockdown that everybody hoped was going to work, but our numbers kept going up because people are inside and breathing on each other, and that's how you get it.
Yeah. So this has inspired us to talk to you all about small businesses surviving a crisis like this.
Yeah, because not to brag, but Reconstructing History has been around since 1997, but we've been selling patterns online since 2003, and we survived the financial crisis in 2008, 2010. Matter of fact, I think 2010 was our best sales year up to last year. I think
it was
last
a banner year, yeah.
Last year was the first year that we actually exceeded 2010, and you know, our car is telling us that it's cold outside. Oh no, it's 4 degrees. It's not cold outside. You guys.
Oh, 4 degrees is pretty cold, but that's 4 degrees C.
Yeah, it's 4 degrees Celsius. Oh, they're my friends. There's a house we're just passing that has a horse paddock in the front yard, and there are 2 Frisians and a bay who wander around the front yard of this house, and it gives me great delight every time we pass them that there are these big fuzzy bunny horses, because they don't live inside. They have a run-in, but so they're fuzzy because
they have to be
their winter coats on
because it's 4 degrees. Fuzzy
bunnies, and wandering around. That's like my dream, that there are big fuzzy Frisians wandering around the front yard of my house, not the backyard, but the front yard.
Right.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I got off the subject because horses. So we're on our second global financial crisis, and we're okay. I mean, you know, things are hard. Of course they are. They're hard for everyone. But with a business that sells things that no one needs, it's always surprising to me how many people in the midst of a financial crisis still buy them.
Yeah. And I think we think there are a couple of reasons that we have managed to survive, if not exactly thrive, survive amongst all of this uproar and upset. And I'm going to give my reasons.
Go ahead.
And you can...
And I will tell you you're wrong.
Yes.
No, I won't.
The first and foremost is selling a product about which you're passionate. Because that comes through. Customers can tell when you have a thing that you're putting out there you're passionate about, and they respond to that passion.
Oh yeah, there are many companies out there, small businesses who just sell what they sell. They sell, people are interested in, I'm just going to pick a thing out of the word, fidget spinners. I know fidget spinners aren't a thing anymore, but I like saying fidget spinners, so I'm saying it. People like fidget spinners, so I'm going to sell fidget spinners. And you don't give a damn about fidget spinners, but you sell them because they're popular, and that's why you do it. And there are a lot of businesses that do that just kind of latch on to whatever's popular, whatever's selling, and they sell that. And they don't care about the product. It's just whatever people are buying at the time, they will sell it. And you are correct. You can use this soundbite whenever I tell you you're wrong. You are, my darling, you are correct. That, our listeners, our customers, our RH family, they're not dumb. They know that we love what we sell. The reason we're in this business is because we love it. Yeah. And it's apparent. And when you buy from somebody who loves something, you get a better product and you get better customer service. Because if you write to me and tell me something isn't working, well, you're talking about something I created. So if it's not working, I can tell you why. Yep. I can tell you what's going on.
Yep.
And although, or
if I'm just shipping you a fidget spinner from a pallet full of boxes, each containing 500 fidget spinners.
Yeah. The answer is either, tough.
Yeah.
Dems to breaks. Or, send it back to me and I'll give you a refund, or I'll send you a new one. But it's not, that's not...
Yeah.
It's not the same as saying, here's how I can help you. I can help you right now. You don't have to bother with that.
So that I think is the crucial thing. You have to sell a thing about which you're passionate, can speak passionately.
Oh my God, the sun is bright.
Don't start complaining.
No, the sun is it's 10 o'clock in the morning and the sun is shining on the dew on the road, and it's really, really shiny.
Yeah.
We're not used to it. We're used to being little moles.
We're used to rain nonstop.
No,
rain.
We're not used to nonstop.
Now, related to having a product about which you're passionate is having a wide array of product.
Yeah.
If you only have one or two things, it's going to be fierce hard, because you're going to build community. You're going to build relationships with customers through your passion for your craft and for your products. But once you can only rely so much on that family, on that community, because once somebody has a fidget spinner, they don't need another fidget spinner.
And we have had a couple of customers over the years aspire to owning them all.
Yeah.
And then we made more. No, we had one or two customers in the SCA who would come with a list of things that they had, and they had the ones crossed off that they already had, they could buy the other ones because they wanted everything. But even that, they're only buying SCA period, which is what the 0 series through the 600 series, and then they stop, and we have 700, 800, 900, 1,000, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah, we have
series.
many eras that don't correspond to.
And I remember one of them going, "Stop! I almost have them all! Stop making more!" Like, no, I'm not going to stop making more. Come on, you crazy?
But yeah, it's a thing that it's crucially important that you continually churn.
Yeah.
So.
And churn isn't the best word, because churn means.
It isn't, but it's.
Churn means kicking up sales when
it's the term of art.
Yeah.
That it isn't exactly appropriate. It's got some negative connotations, but it's
illegal in the insurance industry.
It's the best. It's the best term I can think of.
Yeah,
now.
It's
constantly releasing
not constantly,
regularly
releasing
new product, things that you can use to re-energize your community.
Yeah.
And to give new members of your community a greater number of choices.
Yeah.
And at that.
Yeah, because I mean, even if, let's for example say that you're passionate about the 15th century, and you're passionate about 15th century clothing, and we have a few patterns for the 15th century, and once you've got all the men's and all the women's, you're done.
Yeah.
Because, well, there are many options, and you can do a lot with 3 patterns. However, if we come upon a new piece of research, or what's more likely, I get interested in something that isn't in one of the other patterns, or a variation of, this is a German variation. The original patterns were very based on French and Spanish examples or whatever, and here's a German variation that's different enough
to justify a completely new pattern.
Yeah, and maybe it's just headdresses. Maybe it's you can use the gown pattern and the underclothing pattern from the other set, but here are German headdresses or something like that. So if you have you have a new pattern you put out for the German headdresses, and then that you revive that. Number one, if someone is passionate about the 15th century, they will want the German headdress pattern.
Sure.
And number two, someone who didn't buy the 15th century patterns because they were into the German variation and they thought, I'm just going to look French if I make this pattern. Now they can buy the package with the German headdresses and make their version. So yeah, that's something that we've done.
Number three, staying connected to what's happening in the community out of which your business is sprung, in order to spot prevailing trends.
Yeah. Now this is a bit difficult for us because many of our competitors and colleagues do one time period, or they do Renaissance, or they do colonial or American War of Independence, something like that. But they don't do, we do everything.
Yeah. Because you lack focus.
I seriously lack focus. We do everything from AD 1000 through I think our latest pattern is 1962.
Yeah, let's call it the new look just to be safe.
Yeah, it is new look-ish. There's, and then we do, Western Europe and the Americas. And then we do, the Middle East and the Far East let's hell.
Let's walk that back a bit.
Okay, we're walking.
Because we're talking about, we're talking about, you can still keep track of what's going on. Like part of what informed your choices to go with the vintage, quote unquote, stuff, like 20s, 30s, 40s stuff, was you like it.
Yes.
And you think it's pretty, and you like to wear it. But another part of it was that it became popular.
Well,
it became popular for people to, people who want to still look nice while they go to the office, women, let's say.
Yeah.
You wanted to provide them with stylish vintage stuff, vintage look stuff.
Oh, not just women though. Look at the men going around in their high-waisted trousers and suspenders and
But my point is, thanks to the internet, the means by which you can find this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. We could remain connected enough to the scene to be able to spot that trend as it popped up and serve that demographic, even though it maybe didn't realize it wanted to be served.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what though, this is another typical me thing, is I saw someone doing it wrong. And I don't mean an individual, I mean companies. There was a company that I won't name because they've done good things and then they get off track. And I mean, who knows?
They all do.
Well, clothing companies are hard, because if a clothing company wants to sell something to the general public, it doesn't necessarily behoove them to make it too historical.
Yeah.
Because, for example, and this is what I'm really talking about, is replica 20s clothing is not pleasing to the modern eye.
Yeah.
Replica 20s clothing looks frumpy from a modern perspective. And yeah, we're used to see, Boardwalk Empire and Great Gatsby movie and all this kind of stuff. But you're talking actresses with stylists and modifications and all that kind of thing. When you look at normal people, I mean, even beautiful normal people, a dress without a waist, that doesn't look good on very many people. And this is one of the things why the 50s, like the swing dresses, the new lookish kind of dresses, are so popular among people, because they look good on really skinny people. They give real skinny people a shape. They give chubby people, they accentuate their curves. They give people who are boxy a waist.
Yep.
I mean, it's a really good look across the board.
Yeah.
Where the 20s, oh boy, it could make someone with a terrific figure look like they've got no figure at all.
Yeah.
And so when the clothing companies make a 20s dress, they put a waist in and they cut it differently. And that's not the reality of 20s clothing. So when I saw all this stuff, Gatsby dress, I'm like, oh, fuck Gatsby dress. I had patterns from the 1920s, original patterns from the 1920s, and they're very boxy. And the beauty of them, look at the emu baby, it's so big.
There's the mama emus.
Emu baby is so big.
The deers and
the deers. And the swans.
Svanen.
We're visiting our friends.
We have a loop that we drive around when we record this that takes us past all the different animals.
Yeah, and we couldn't find if you've seen pictures of me petting a big fuzzy Frisian on Instagram and Facebook, our Facebook page.
If you're listening to this on YouTube, there'll be a picture of a big fuzzy-footed pony and Cass giving smoochies to it, probably about here.
Yeah, right. But they're not in today. Their paddock is empty. I don't know. They're either hiding out in their shelter, or I think they're a carriage pair.
Yeah, they might be out for a drive. It's such a nice day.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful morning. So let's hope
they're out for a drive too.
If we see them on our drive, we will squeal.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the thing.
20s thing.
So 20s, I wasn't necessarily listening to what the community was telling me about 20s thing, although I was, because I'm friends with people who are passionate about vintage dance, and the vintage dancers wanted the real thing.
Yeah, they were looking at the stuff that they were finding online and going, this isn't right.
Yeah.
I don't want quote flapper dress, close quotes.
Yeah, they wanted the real thing, and it departs greatly. I mean, if you go,
it's to cut you short.
To cut me off.
Because I don't want. We could easily go on for an hour or three. About,
I could talk about
this stuff.
Yeah, we have a video series called Faking the 20s, where I rant about what's wrong with the 20s stuff that's out there on YouTube. Look it up.
But yeah, it's a matter of staying connected with the community and staying connected with trends in your marketplace.
Yeah.
It's also like my side gig. I'll give you another example, because it doesn't have to do with just clothes and patterns and stuff. My side gig, writing role-playing game supplements. Whenever a new book comes out for 5th edition D&D, as soon as we get because it always gets leaked. The new book is going to be, I don't know, an adventure set in such and such a location. Well, we all start thinking about, all of us independent third-party people start thinking about books that we can write to supplement that book, because there's going to be a feeding frenzy on that content, supporting content for that hardcover that comes from Wizards of the Coast at that time. Because we know it's going to drop on November Hamana, or April something, whenever, because they drop 2 hardcovers a year. They always leak it about at least 3 months beforehand. It gets leaked, which gives you plenty of time or gives me plenty of time to come up with some idea and prepare a third-party supplement in support of that hardcover.
Yeah, and the same thing happens with like movies or historical anniversaries.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And but then you have to balance that with number one, which is be passionate about what you're making. Because if you're just phoning it in to cash in on the feeding frenzy, people will tell.
Yeah, and the other thing is the feeding frenzy, the real feeding frenzy about, oh my God, I have to have that dress, isn't going to be coming to a historical pattern maker to get the historical pattern.
No,
if
you're a sewer who's making stuff from reconstructing history patterns, the people who are in the feeding frenzy don't want a €500 custom-made dress.
Mm-hmm.
They want something they can get for $29.99 off of Wish or something. So you have to balance all of this, is what I'm saying. So that was 3 or 4?
That was 3.
That was 3. And I think so we've got, you have to be passionate about what you're making.
Mm-hmm.
You have to constantly be producing new product.
Mm-hmm.
You have to watch market trends and try and surf those waves.
And listen to your community, what your community is telling you.
Which leads me to number 4.
Oh, there's a 4.
This is
a 4.
This is the last.
I'll get to talk sometime, guys.
You've been talking.
Oh.
Just too much.
Not as much as I want.
Too much.
Don't oppress me.
Building community. And these are in no particular order, because one could make a very distinct argument that you should put this at either number 1 or number 2. Building community. You have to have a way to communicate with your community. So we're talking things like Facebook groups, Discord servers, email lists, all these different ways, Twitter followers, all these different ways that you can communicate your brand's message and also get feedback on what you're making, because your public will tell you if they don't like what you're making. Mm-hmm. You won't have to go by just sales numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But, making friends with people, the most successful brands I know of aren't really brands. They're people with whom customers can connect.
Mm-hmm.
That is super huge for any brand, whether you're talking something that you do in the evenings on Tuesdays and Thursdays to something you do 80 hours a week. The only way you're going to succeed at it is if not the only way, but the easiest way for people like us to succeed is to be able to communicate and connect with people in a very real and tangible sense, like talking to them.
Yeah.
And that can be really hard, because it's time you spend doing that is time you take away from actually making product.
Yes.
These are all incredibly difficult things to balance, and we've screwed it up.
Oh yeah.
On more than a few occasions. But these are all the things that I could think of when we talked about doing this podcast, the most important things. Because no matter what you do, you got to market it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that...
And honestly, I've said this before in a number of different venues. I've heard my fellow aspiring small business owners say, "Oh, I hate marketing. I just want to do my art." And if you want to run a business, if you hate marketing, you got to hire somebody to do the marketing for you.
Yeah.
Because no one is going to find your product by magic. The marketplace is crowded with people who are putting themselves out there.
Especially now with the pandemic. It's a very, very, very crowded marketplace because people have found they have a lot of time to invest in their art.
Yeah, and when I say pay somebody, I don't mean, pay somebody a 6-figure salary. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go to some marketing company in New York City. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about that. But to get someone who will do your Facebook and Instagram posts for you to someone who will write your newsletter and release your newsletter. I mean, I'm not this kind of person. I'm an extrovert. So for me, it's like, hey, I got this new thing. Look up the new thing, and that's easy. I mean, for me, that's easier than making the thing. Matter of fact, a lot of times, and I don't know if you've noticed, folks, but a lot of times I will tell you about the new thing so that it motivates me to finish the new thing. Because I don't.
Reconstructing history has a long and storied history of pre-orders.
Well, yeah, and because I'm a person who's motivated by deadlines, and I always have been, and I can't work if I don't have a deadline, and if I say I have a deadline and I know no one's going to hold me to it, it's not a deadline. So, but if I have sold some patterns and you're waiting for them, then I have a deadline.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Now you've got people jumping up and down.
Yeah.
And that can be a useful thing.
And it works for me because I need that motivation, and I know that about myself. But
we're talking about marketing.
Yeah, getting back to marketing, if you're a person who just, you want to do your art, you want to create your things, and you feel shy about talking about it, you feel it's braggy to talk about it, but you want to sell these things, you want to quit your day job and have this be your living, you have to get somebody who's going to do that piece for you.
Yeah.
And like back long ago, when Bob was a professional brewer, there was a brewery that started about the same time that the brewery that he worked for started, and they became globally successful. And
we found their beer in London.
Yeah, we found their beer in London. And, more power to them. They're terrific. And what were they? They were a brewer and an accountant who partnered.
Yeah.
And the brewer was the artist.
Let me use some what are going to sound like jargon terms, and I know how you hate those, darling.
Yeah, well.
They're useful. There's a difference.
I will determine if they're useful.
The brewer in that situation was the maker.
Yeah.
The makers.
He was the artist. Yep.
The makers are notoriously bad at running businesses because it's not what they're good at.
Yeah.
What they're good at is making things. But what he did was partner with a business person who, could make beer. They were homebrewers together.
Yeah.
But
he was also passionate about the business person was passionate about beer. He just wasn't so passionate that he would make it.
Right. He wasn't so passionate that he wanted to learn a completely new set of skills to scale 5-gallon batches up to 30 barrels.
Yeah, because home brewing doesn't translate.
It's not a linear scale.
No.
At any rate, so if you're a maker, you have to find someone who is passionate about what you're making, but their skill set involves selling what you're making.
You have to find somebody who loves the numbers.
I call them makers and doers.
Yeah.
Because a doer isn't necessarily a maker, but they can do the thing of selling what's made.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because, here we go again. I don't even know if I qualify. I do qualify as a maker. Obviously, I do because I make all the patterns. But
you have a very rare balance.
I love numbers. I will crunch numbers until they squeak in pain. I love looking at numbers and comparing this month to that month and last year and 10 years ago and then figuring out what happens when I post on Instagram, what happens to the numbers,
It's very rare, though, to find that kind of balance of both skill sets in one person.
And if you don't like marketing, you don't have to do marketing, but someone does. And it could be, partner with somebody. Someone blowing his horn at you.
And flashing headlights like we're on the Autobahn. We're in a 30 kph zone going through a village.
Fucking Belgians. I apologize, Belgium, but it's always you. We're going through a little tiny village, and there's this white van with Belgian plates beeping at us like...
And flashing headlights like we're on the Autobahn in Germany.
We're going through a tiny village where the speed limit is
30 kph.
30 kph, which is very, very slow. Matter of fact, there's a sign right here telling us with a little smiley face that we are going the speed limit.
A radar thing.
A radar thing. So.
Ages. Anyhow.
Dickhead.
No, you gotta.
So yeah, the point being, don't be afraid. Don't feel that in order to be in business, there's a pony.
There's a fuzzy little fat pony.
Two fuzzy ponies where the camels used to be. Where are the camels?
I don't know. They must maybe.
Oh, there's some.
They're in there.
Yeah, you can't see the backyard.
No.
We did. The village, it's a very traditional village where all the houses are on the main street in the village, and the farms go back, radiate away from the center of the village.
Medievalists.
Yeah.
Think medieval village.
It's totally a medieval village.
There are strips behind every cottage.
Yeah, and there's quite substantial land that we can't see because the houses are blocking it. The camels must still be. I believe in the camels.
Bactrians.
The Bactrians. The bacteria camels. Bactrians. Yeah, so don't be afraid of the marketing. Don't feel that, oh, well, I can't go into business.
Or recognize your limitations.
Yeah, you just have to know yourself. And it doesn't take you paying a lot of money to a professional. You could partner with someone who
will work in kind.
Yeah, who believes in your product, a friend.
If you make chairs and that's your passion, and you don't want to learn a new skill set to market your chairs, find someone who has that skill set and will work for a chair or two. Yeah. Make them a dining room set.
It's not hard to do.
Right.
Oh, now you're going over the speed limit.
Right. Insästa.
Yeah, so marketing is essential, and sorry to those people who hate marketing.
It's not a judgment on you.
No.
It's nothing to be ashamed of to not want to market your wares, to not want to spend the time developing the marketing skill set.
Yeah,
that's not an indictment on you. It's fine.
Yeah, but don't hide your light under a bushel. People,
and don't pretend that you've built a better mousetrap because you haven't.
Yeah, it's don't be afraid of it. Just do it. It needs to be done, so do it. That's how you sell things.
Yep.
You don't sell things by sitting around and waiting for someone to find out about you. You don't succeed by waiting for your fairy godmother to come.
Yeah.
And an overnight success takes about 10 years.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's my list of 4.
I have something that I would like to talk about that's kind of on the same subject, because we're talking about small businesses in times of economic hardship. And I have a couple of tips if you are a patron of a small business, what you can do to help them right now, because there's not a small business that isn't struggling.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form.
Everybody's struggling.
Yeah, and it's the Christmas season, and this is the time when we're supposed to make our big money at the end of the year, so we can pay all the bills that come due at the end of the year, and we're not making the money. So, how can you help your small businesses right now? Now, obviously, the most obvious thing is buy from your small businesses rather than buying from Amazon or Walmart or whatever. I don't even know.
The big box stores. Shop locally.
Yeah, shop locally. Buy from your small businesses. But what do you do if they're not open because they can't be open because of the pandemic or what have you? For example, salons.
Oh, yeah.
Here in the Netherlands, just closed down again, and
the day before I was going to get my freaking haircut.
Oh my God, you
just
totally couldn't get your Christmas haircut, and you can't do any of that.
I'm a shaggy bastard.
Yeah, and we were waiting. So, it's very rare for a company not to have a salon not to have some way to buy gift certificates.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a way to buy gift certificates, call them. Even if they're not answering the phone, everybody has voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
Leave them a voicemail and say, hey, I'd really like to help your business. I know that I can't come in for an appointment now, but can I buy a gift certificate against an appointment in the future?
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, it is a gift from the blue for you to hand them money now for nothing.
Yeah, and even if they go, oh, I never thought of that. Well, now you've given them the idea.
Just give them your credit card.
2 gifts.
Yeah, give them your credit card number. Let them run your credit card over the phone.
And they'll write it down.
Yeah.
That they owe you cut and style.
Yeah.
And bada bing, bada boom.
And it is.
And in March or whatever, you can go and get your hair cut.
It is such an incredible thing to have someone, when you're worried about paying the rents, to have someone hand you some money for nothing.
Yeah.
And it's not money for nothing, it's money for a future something.
Yeah.
But to hand a small business some cash.
Be careful. The Wall Street might come up with an instrument that, like, haircut futures.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Basically, you're buying haircut futures, aren't you? But yeah. So salons, restaurants.
Yeah.
Gift shops. Clothing stores.
Yep.
Any place you can think of, any place that you want to not see go out of business. Either go to their website. If you can buy from them now from their website, buy from them from their website. Absolutely, buy right now. But if you can't buy from them right now, you can at least buy a gift certificate. Oh, Land Rover, oldie.
Old Army Land Rover.
Yeah.
It was out for it's in great nick.
Wow. Wow, indeed. Oh, don't run into the oncoming traffic, darling.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie are there in their field.
Yeah.
Here, let me give you another thing. I'm going to expand upon that tip if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead.
If you don't have any money right now, because really, who does?
Mm-hmm.
Look on the interwebs, because you have time.
Yeah. One thing we have is time.
Look on the interwebs and promote them.
Yes.
If someone, if you spot an opportunity to plug a business that's run by friends of yours, and someone says, you know what, I'm looking for, I really would like to have this dingus.
Mm-hmm.
Say, hey, my friends Bob and Cass, they sell dinguses like that. Why don't you take a look at their website, which is here?
Yep. And really, or share their Instagram post, share their Facebook post,
share their Twitter, share their tweets.
Retweet.
Retweets are powerful, man.
It's something that
quote
I find.
Retweet. Do a quote retweet because those get better traction in the algorithm.
They? Yeah. Cool. I don't know. I don't tweet, so I don't know much about it. But you do. You tweet a lot. It's something. It's one of those things that I find, like, particularly people, my personal friends, people who were my friends before I did anything for a living, that they feel shy and I know Cass, I don't want to go posting things from this is my friend, and matter of fact, I was on a message board once where if they found you could post a link to a supplier, like a reenactment supplier, but if they found out you were friends with that reenactment supplier, they would take your post down. Like, just because you're friends with someone doesn't mean you don't use. Maybe you're friends with them. You became friends with them because you use their services. But it was very silly. But don't be shy about promoting your friends' work. It's not as slimy feeling as it might initially feel. To say to someone, "Oh, hey, you need a German 15th century headdress pattern." Well, my friend's got one.
I do it.
I
do it. If someone emails me at info@reconstructinghistory.com, do you have a pattern for X?
Yeah.
And I don't.
Yeah.
But I know that another company has a ready-to-wear thing.
Yeah. That'll
do it. I send them the link.
Yeah.
Because we're all in this together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to line it. Places like Wish and Amazon.
Of course.
Someplace.
Of course.
you know, I want to, like, what is it, Top Vintage in the UK or someplace like that.
Yeah.
You know, I want to. I've made the dress from RH1404. Now I need to accessorize it. Well, okay, go here for shoes, go there for hats.
Yep.
You know, and these are all small businesses like ours.
Mm-hmm.
They're all struggling to survive like we are.
Mm-hmm.
Why the hell wouldn't I send them to?
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, if you want to help somebody,
Yeah.
you want to help a small business, you know, and you don't have any money to buy a gift certificate or something from them right now, just retweet, share, you know,
Share, retweet,
talk about them.
Yeah.
Even, you know, watching their YouTube videos, YouTube will eventually pay people, and it's based on watch hours.
Yeah.
So if you want to...
We're not talking huge amounts of money either.
No.
Some of the biggest channels still get paid peanuts.
Yeah, it's peanuts. But if you want to help them, if you want... And, you know, it's not just the money that YouTube might pay them in the future, but it's also the more subscribers and watchers they have, the more their videos get shown to other people.
The bigger their community gets.
So if you want to...
Remember what I said about community?
Yeah. If you want to promote someone's stuff without doing something so blatant as saying, oh, here, watch this YouTube video from this place I like, you can just watch it.
Yeah.
Because the more you watch it, the more hours you spend, the more watch hours that they accumulate, the more YouTube will serve their videos to other people, to new people, and then the more people will see it, and then the better that business will do. So there are many ways. I mean, you know, there are lots of businesses that are going under this year because of the pandemic, and that's horrible. But you don't have to do something enormous to help them.
Yep.
But, you know, gift certificates are terrific. Buying online, if they allow you to buy online, a lot of the restaurants around here just started doing home delivery. So they're keeping their cooking staff, their kitchen staff on and
or
paying.
their serving staff to, you know, run orders.
Yeah. And, you know, it's one of the things we're doing is, you know, I think we're eating out a little more than, or ordering in a little more than we did before, because we want to support our local restaurants.
I want the places I like to go to still be there when the lockdown's lifted.
Yeah, and I mean, we in the Netherlands, we have a really good support system that those businesses are going to be okay, but other places
not so
I know you don't, you know.
Yeah.
And gift certificates are terrific, but if you don't have any money, just word of mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, you would not believe how much sharing a link helps.
Oh yeah.
A business. And this isn't just for the pandemic, this is for always. If you have a business that you like, you know, retweet their stuff, share their links. I mean, you don't have to annoy anybody with them, but you know, if everybody did it a little bit, nobody would get annoyed. And that's something that, you know, one of the beautiful things that has come out of this crazy global crisis is the people helping other people in extraordinary ways.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that you can do.
Yeah. It's easy, it's cheap or free.
Yeah.
So you don't have to put you're not exposing yourself to any risk, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. Another thing you can do that's free, costs you nothing, is if you have something, you bought something in the past from somebody like Reconstructing History. And there's the other emu.
Yeah.
And the peacocks and the concrete pig.
Yeah.
If you bought something, you liked it, go and leave a review.
Yeah.
The product is still going to be on their website, but go.
It's funny. People used to review things all the time.
Yeah.
And then something happened and people just stopped reviewing things.
Yeah.
And now, you know,
it's...
I don't understand what happens. I mean, I review stuff all the time because, well, I'm a small business owner and I want to help other small business owners.
We understand how important it is.
But, you know, it's or commenting. I mean, I remember commenting used to be a thing, and now people seem to hold back.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why that is.
And I mean, maybe it's because they don't want to get into an argument on the comments. But you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? You don't have to
What's
get into
the rule? Never read the comments.
Yeah. If you want to comment on something you like, that doesn't mean you have to read the other comments or respond to people who have commented on your comment.
Turn off notifications.
Yeah, I have notifications turned off because I want to say what I want to say, and I don't want to hear anybody else say anything about it. You know.
But no, leaving a rating and review.
Yeah.
It just leave a star rating.
Mm-hmm.
That right there helps.
Yeah.
Because people pay attention to that kind of thing. Like people, prospective customers really pay attention to star ratings. So
Yeah.
and it's something that I struggle with my game rating stuff, because you'd think somebody buys a download, they read it, oh, that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
It costs you nothing to go back and 2 clicks.
Yeah, and it really helps us.
And it really, really, really helps the people who are trying to struggle.
Yeah.
So we kind of got away from how to run a survivable business in a pandemic.
But it's important. I mean, because people out there want to know how to help the businesses they know are struggling, and I think there are. I mean, when lockdown first happened in March, you know, I'm a small business. My first thought was, holy crap, what can I do? And I went buying gift certificates. You know, like I just thought, my business is okay. While my business is okay, I'm going to buy gift certificates to all the businesses that might not be.
You tossed some money at the spa that.
Yep.
Not the place that cuts your hair. Well, you did that too.
I did that too.
But the place you go to, you know, get your face did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Errant hairs yanked out.
Yeah.
Here's a pile of money. I'll be back when the lockdown is lifted.
Yeah, and I mean, my first thought was to my haircutters.
You had it, so why not spread it around?
Yeah, my hair salon is new.
Yeah.
My hair salon had only been in business about a year, and I was really worried about them because, you know, they didn't have any side hustle yet. They didn't have any. They don't have a website. They don't have products that they sell.
Yeah.
They were just cutting hair, and I was like, oh, I'll buy a gift certificate and I'll spend it later. And then when I was able to go and get a haircut, I didn't use my gift certificate. I paid them again.
Yeah.
Because well, their haircuts are really cheap. I don't know. The Netherlands don't charge enough for some things. Some things are really
expensive.
Really inexpensive.
Other things are really cheap.
And so I went in and I was like, okay, I booked this, and she's like, oh, do you want to use your gift certificate? No, I'll pay for this. I'll use the gift certificate later, because then that gave them more money.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, and there's going to come a day when I'm not so flush, and then I use the gift certificate.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't expire. And speaking of which, we have gift certificates on Reconstructing History. If you go into our search bar and type in gift certificate, you'll get a gift certificate, and you can buy them in increments of $25.
Yep.
And then as soon as I see the order come through, I will set up a coupon for you and send you a code. I'll put the code into your order and a little note saying this is your code, and you can use it. You can use it partially, you can use it completely, you can use, if you want to buy more than the gift certificate is for, you can use the gift certificate and then use a credit card or PayPal to pay the extra. If you don't want to spend the whole gift certificate at once, you can do that too, and it'll keep track. So if you want to give the gift certificate to someone else, you just give them the code.
Yep.
But if you want to keep it yourself, you just use it's just a coupon code, so you can use it at any time. You just put it in the coupon code box at checkout. And if any of this is confusing, drop me an email and I will explain it to you again. But it's not info at reconstructinghistory.com. And it's not confusing, though. It's very easy. So if you want a gift certificate, buy a gift certificate from us. If you want to buy a pattern, delivery is really difficult right now because between Christmas season and the pandemic, everything is screwed up everywhere.
By the time this goes out, that it should be fixed, but
yeah, who knows?
We're talking USPS.
We don't know. And I mean, and
DHL.
DHL gave me a thing that they lost a package last week, and then I contacted the person and told them, oh, I'm going to send your package again because DHL lost it. And they said, wait, I got a package yesterday. Isn't this the package? And it was. So DHL doesn't even know what everyone is crazy right now. So buy a download. We have downloads. They're wonderful. You can print them out on a regular printer and tape them together, or you can, because right now you're not going to be going to the print shop to get them printed out. But you can even send them to, if you have a projector, you can send them to a projector and project the lines onto your fabric and just trace with chalk around the lines.
Yeah, there's scaling units and everything built in.
I'm going to do a video on that one of these days, but at the moment I don't have a projector, so I'll have to get one.
And all I sell are downloads.
Yeah.
So, kaboutergames.com.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Stealing your thunder.
Don't you step on my territory. But yeah, so, it's tough times, but we can help each other.
Yep.
And, shop locally.
Shop small.
Shop small. Buy online. Buy gift certificates. Do whatever you can to help the little guys. Yeah.
That's about it.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year. Hope your 2021 is awesome.
I think this isn't going to go out until 2021, but there we go.
Wishing you the best of 2021s, the best of years. And because, the bar's pretty low in 2020. But let's hope. We
hope all goes well with you. And remember, don't worry if you didn't have a good year. Have amazing moments.
Yeah.
Track your time by moments. It'll make you happier.
And hug those who are close to you. And spread the love around, guys, okay?
Yeah. We love you all.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.